The CDC came out today with new research on the effectiveness of wearing two masks, how the protection stacks up to the COVID vaccine. We have details of the new study ahead.
The initial, thought of having to continue into the summer can be really distressing for some.
Catching up on school in the summer. New proposals to extend the school year to help students make up for losses due to remote learning. Mental health experts weigh in on the possible impacts of a longer school year.
Your new job, after being outsourced by his company, a local man reimagines his career with the help of a unique consulting firm. How he was able to turn a layoff into his own business venture. Valentine's Day victory. Stuck at home for the holiday doesn't have to make your date night a bust. Our experts share professional tips on how to turn a celebration at home into a night to remember. And the nomination is, yes, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations are out. The shoe-ins, the surprises, and the reimagined ceremony live for the very first time. What's New starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
That list of Rock Hall nominees is fantastic. Can't wait to hear more on that coming up. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It is Hump Day. This is What's New. I'm Betsy Kling with my co-host Jay Crawford. And Jay, not only is today Wednesday, it is February 10th. Yes, I had to look down and double check. And it's 19 degrees. We have light snow falling, and it is National Flannel Day. So stay cozy.
Wow. Well, that's fitting. National Flannel Day on such a cold day. A very good Wednesday afternoon to you, Betsy, and to everyone at home. Thanks so much for choosing What's New. We begin today at 5 o'clock with new research from the CDC that gives us another highly effective tool when it comes to our fight against the coronavirus. The CDC today stressing the importance of wearing masks properly. Keyword there, properly. And also new data that shows two masks are indeed better than one. Brandon Simmons joins us now to outline how we can all make sure that we're using our masks the right way so they can do the job that we expect them to do. Hello to you, Brandon.
Hi, Jay. Yeah, this topic of double masks really came up around the inauguration for the first time. That's when we saw that when many people at that event were seen wearing two masks. And now for the first time, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says lab data shows that making sure your mask fits properly can reduce the chances of transmitting coronavirus to others by more than 95%. And there are two methods to do that, and they were studied. The first is double masking, specifically a medical mask that is covered by a cloth mask. And the second method is to take the medical mask and make it knotted and tucked.
I want to be clear that these new scientific data released today do not change the specific recommendations about who should wear a mask or when they should wear one. But they do provide new information on why wearing a well-fitting mask is so important to protect you and others.
Now, mask wearing is believed to be especially important as new variants continue to become dominant around the country, Jay.
I'll understand double masking speaks for itself, but you also mentioned there knotted and tucked. What's that all about? What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a new concept. Here's an example of that in this mask here. You can see one side, this is how it originally comes. It's nice and loose. And then there's the other side here that's sort of tied in a knot. And that's the way the CDC recommends it. What they're saying is as you put on this mask, which I'll try to do live, which is a little bit difficult, but if you put it on and you see how we have this tucked inside, you don't have that gap on one side. Oh, yeah. You have everything nice and snug. And they say the effect there is that it works more like an N95 mask as opposed to having the loose end where the virus is still able to get inside.
Makes perfect sense. Tighter means a little bit more secure. Brandon, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Well, this next story is both absurd and at the same time unbelievable, really. A teacher's aide in Boardman, that's near Youngstown, is accused of stapling a piece of paper to a boy's head, according to his mother. By the way, the boy has autism. The police report says it all centered around a water bottle. The boy's mom claims it's part of his daily routine to get a water bottle from a teacher at school. However, the teacher's aide and another teacher continually asked the young man to bring his own. That's when the aide allegedly stapled a note to his head to bring a water bottle to school. Betsy, the police report says the aide stapled the note to his hair, not his head.
Doesn't
Police, I can't imagine it does. Police finished their investigation and actually said that no criminal charges will be filed. And as a result, the superintendent said since there was no intent to harm anyone, the employee will just get a warning.
Mama Bear fires up at this because what right does that teacher, that adult have to out that child like that? The boy has autism and you have just publicly shamed him for something he has no control over. And I can feel my blood pressure going out. I'm starting to sweat. I get really upset about that. And it is absolutely unconscionable. Whether it's a criminal act or not, fine, I get it. It's not a criminal assault act, whatever. But boy, the school sure should be held accountable for that. And I would hope that the teacher gets a little bit more than a warning, hopefully moved to a different position.
Well, it violates our basic law of common sense. When I read the story, this is true. When I first read the story, it read to me like an Onion article. Like, this can't be true. There's no way somebody made the conscious decision. Whether it was to his head or to his hair is irrelevant. There's no way a teacher could possibly have thought that that would be the best way to handle that situation. There are so many other ways that that could have been handled. Hopefully it'll be looked into a little bit more and the right decisions will be made. Shocking.
It is definitely shocking. All right, well, let's stay on the education theme because now on your feet at 5, we know that education has taken a serious hit during this pandemic. And just a week ago, just earlier this week, Governor Mike DeWine made mention that summer school could be what needs to happen next to get kids caught up from a very unique school year. This conversation seems to come around every now and again, doesn't it? The whole summer school, year-round school. But the big question is this what's best for students? Our Romney Smith looked into this and some options on how kids might react.
In order to help kids who've fallen behind in school due to the pandemic catch up, Governor Mike DeWine wants school systems to provide plans to help.
That means days could be added to the beginning or the end of the school year. A school may decide the school days should be longer or that summer classes will help their students.
The Akron school system has already started that process.
What options would we do to support educational process in the summer? So yes, they have started those discussions. The plans are not finalized at this time because certainly we are focused on getting the students back into the classrooms in March and moving forward.
Crossroads Chief Clinical Officer for Youth Programming, Amber Thomas, says parents should know the thought of extending an already crazy school year can be stressful for kids and teens.
So being faced with information that might not be the case sometimes can cause a sense of hopelessness or helplessness or just anger, frustration.
To help, Thomas says listen to your kids' thoughts and feelings on more school over the summer. Then take action.
Resetting around, we might need to think about how we're going to build in fun and breaks over the summer so that there are still things to look forward to.
While different school systems will try to bridge any academic gaps over the summer in different ways, Thomas says try to be flexible with yourself and your child since you know them best.
Is this going to cause more problems for my child or fewer problems? Is it going to help them maybe have a better next year if they can kind of really get through the summer and get caught up?
Thomas also says if extra schooling over the summer is an option for your family and a parent feels like their kid is just kind of at a breaking point, that it's okay to decline it because your child might do better to catch up in the fall once they've had kind of a mental break over the summer. Betsy.
Well, the timeliness of this topic is perfect because I, for one, and I know there's a lot of families out there, you're kind of starting to play with the idea of this whole summer vacation idea. What are we going to do this summer? What can we do as a family? Do you know any schools yet that have concrete plans in place for summer? Because that makes a big impact on how we plan.
It does, and here's your answer. No, because right now they're all focused on getting kids back into class. But keep in mind that the governor just requested this yesterday, so I'm sure they will listen and we'll start to get more information soon on that.
Definitely a lot on their plates right now. Romney, thank you so much. Well, turning to Washington, D.C. now, and the second impeachment of former President Trump. It began today. The House Democrats laid out their case that the former president incited the deadly attack on the Capitol last month, using his words against him.
And you have to get your people to fight. The Democrats are trying to steal the White House.
He assembled the mob, he summoned the mob, and he incited the mob.
Well, President Trump did release a video statement telling the rioters to go home during the insurrection, but some say he didn't condemn the violence. The Trump legal team begins its defense on Friday, focusing on claims he was exercising free speech and never encouraged violence. Sources told NBC News that President Trump was furious with his lawyer's performance yesterday when the Senate voted that the trial is constitutional.
Coming up next on What's New, no, Tina Turner is not already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo act. I know a lot of people were surprised today when she was on the nomination list. We're going to take a look at the entire nomination list for the class of 2021. That's straight ahead.
And a lot of folks are getting a better understanding of Britney Spears' very public struggles thanks to a new documentary. We'll discuss that ahead in Pop Break.
And Matt Wintz is up next to give us a look at the forecast, which I think will include more cold weather. Hi, Matt.
Well, Jay, boy, you are just so close to being a meteorologist here in Cleveland. You could go with that forecast all the way through April. A live look at CSU camp right now. We do have reduced visibility because there is some snow flying across northeast Ohio. We'll talk about the snow tonight and perhaps some bigger chances for snow next week. Some of these totals, that early look at them, are pretty impressive. We'll detail that coming up in the forecast.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not wirelessly mic'd, it's hardwired, so I was in the car.
Yeah, I'm out at Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to the Narrow. But I'll be hood forever. I'm the new Sinatra.
Oh, many were thrilled to hear today that Jay-Z made the cut for this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nomination list. In all, 16 bands and artists are nominated. And as Will Ewick tells us, this year's nomination list is about as diverse as it gets.
From the Queen of Rock and Roll to a 17-year-old rapper who burst onto the scene to become the face of Def Jam Records. The 16 nominees announced as one of the most diverse groups in Rock Hall history.
It underscores the remarkable diversity in rock and roll. Just a terrific, terrific ballot.
Keep smiling, keep shining.
It's the most gender-inclusive ballot they've ever had, with 7 of the 16 noms featuring women. From Dionne Warwick, Mary J. Blige, Kate Bush, and Carole King, to the Go-Go's, Tina Turner, and Chaka Khan. It's also diverse in sound and ethnicity, with the most people of color nominated since '96. The rest of the group includes Iron Maiden, Jay-Z, Fela Kuti, the New York Dolls, Todd Rundgren, Rage Against the Machine, LL Cool J, the Foo Fighters, and the group with a hometown connection, Devo.
That when we met at Kent State, music to us was a way you would express yourself the same way if you made a painting or a print.
To be nominated, the artist needed to make a record 25 years ago, with the committee whittling it down to these 16.
We look at impact and influence, not necessarily chart status or record sales, but impact and influence.
Now it's up to the fan vote and the international voting body to trim the list down to the final 5 to 7 inductees that'll be enshrined in the hall in a ceremony hosted in Cleveland this year for the first time ever in the fall, with the date and venue expected to be announced next month.
Our planning process is to have a live audience. You know, we're still in the middle of this pandemic, and whatever our circumstance are, we'll be delivering something that meets those circumstances. And let's hope that we're all in that spot and able to celebrate.
The inductees will be announced in May, and then the exhibit honoring the inductees opens here in July. As far as that exact date and venue, Jay, it's held here and been here every couple of years in public auditorium. And I tried to press Greg on that. Is it going to be in public auditorium? A lot of rumors circulating it may not be.
Right.
He wouldn't give me an answer. He said next month the announcement will be made.
All right, very good. Will, why is it that it's between 5 and 7 artists that are voted in each year? It seems kind of random.
Yeah, the target is 5, but what they like to do is give themselves a little bit of leeway in case there's a tie. They can include a 6th, or if for some reason like a top 7 and then there's a dramatic drop in votes to everyone else, they like to give them a buffer where they can accept people if there's a giant break in between everybody, but they're targeting 5 each and every year, Jay.
All right, yeah, that makes perfect sense. All right, Will Ewick, thank you very much, live from the hall. So if you'd like an in-depth look at all of the nominees and their journeys, you can text the word Rock Hall to 216-344-3300. We'll send our special report straight to your phone. Again, text, don't call. The word is Rock Hall to 216-344-3300.
You know, if it's in the fall in Cleveland, maybe an outdoor venue would be the way to go. I think that would be amazing for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions. So I can't wait to hear what they come up with. And by fall, you know, we'll be past this whole winter thing that we have going on. But I don't know if we're going to quite be able to dig out by then.
Good question, Matt. I'm wondering the same thing. When does this end? All right. Your weather word today. In listening to all of those incredible music acts, my mind goes to a place where they all take the stage and just jam together. Mm-hmm. How fun that would be. So that's your weather word today.
They do that.
And that's going to be hard for you to fit in. Jam.
Jam, all right, you got it. I wish we did some kind of cooking segment right after this as well. But yeah, you know, it seems so far removed, and I think that's one of the biggest things with Northeast Ohio weather is that the next season is always so far removed from your mind. I can't imagine what summer feels like, but in the summer you can't imagine what winter feels like. It's just the beauty of the seasons here, I guess you could call it, here in Northeast Ohio. But we've got some snow to deal with tonight. This is that system we were tracking off to the west that was developing yesterday. This is spreading light snow over Northeast Ohio. None of it is particularly heavy, but it's pretty steady right now across much of the region. It goes from flurries to snow showers. Heaviest right now, Erie, Huron County, down towards the Ashland area. So taking a live look at the ODOT cam in Ashland. And this is pretty much what we're all dealing with. Reduced visibilities down to about a mile or so. You do have some slick spots in the medians and areas that are untreated. Otherwise, this is going to be a pretty easy event for most of us with a general maybe 1 inch, maybe 2 in some of the higher areas down towards towards the south, but you see the bigger picture. This storm is missing us down towards the south, and it is quite a storm. There are ice storm warnings stretching from Kentucky all the way back towards areas of Arkansas. You can see the southern periphery of Ohio there as you get down towards the Ohio River. That's where the impacts will be from this. And in terms of ice, if you have any travel plans tomorrow, ice is, in my mind, the worst of all the conditions to travel on. We've got problems as you get down towards I-65, I-40 down towards the Tennessee Valley is going to be ice covered, and with this cold, it's not going anywhere anytime soon, unfortunately for them. For us locally, though, your National Design Mart Hour by our forecast, we've got the snow tonight. It'll come and go. Most of it should be out of here by tomorrow morning. Temperatures will be in the teens once again to start your day. Wind chills, that's the number that really matters, in the single digits. By tomorrow afternoon, though, we'll hang on to some lake effect clouds, but some of us, especially Lorain County down towards Ashland County, you will be jamming. You will be in the jam. You'll be doing the jam as you get out towards that sunshine tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, appreciate the close enough on that. You can see, I think we'll break into some sunshine outside of the snow belt tomorrow. In terms of the cold air, they are some 25 to 50 degrees below average in areas of Montana. That cold core of the air will sink south as we get towards the weekend. Notice we're still getting brushed by it, so the worst of the cold will be off towards the west, but this is going to set all kinds of records down in Texas, and this is also going to spin up a storm system next week. And Betsy, we're going to talk more about this in the next update as you see our Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. It's going to chill us down this weekend, but this is going to spin up a storm next week that could be quite impactful somewhere in the Ohio Valley. We'll take you the latest model runs on through that forecast coming up next week. But Betsy, definitely gets interesting as we've talked about earlier today.
It does. Perhaps we could call it Snow Jam for ourselves. Atlanta had theirs, so maybe we make this ours. And that, Matt, was your most dad moment ever, by the way. So we'll talk to you again coming up.
That's why we love it.
Oh, it was fantastic. Ahead for all of us here on What's New, Alex Trebek was always one of television's sharpest dressers. Find out how his former wardrobe will help kickstart the lives of men down on their luck.
And our Worth the Watch video is coming up. Say you're too afraid to snowboard?
What?
This video might just change your mind.
No!
I know, it's awesome, and it's coming up right after the break.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is boss.
Well, as we head to break, now that you're smiling, Ohio City's barbecue is tonight's Save Our Sauce feature. They're doing takeout only, but just imagine taking home a slab of ribs or a Polish boy from this place. Visit WKYC.com for a full list of great restaurants in this neighborhood from our Doug Tratner. Well, Britney Spears is back in the spotlight. Rebecca Black released a remix of her song Friday, and there's a new trailer for the Aretha Franklin documentary. I cannot wait to see that. Kara Cotton gives us the scoop on all of it in today's Pop Break.
Britney Spears is making headlines again, only this time the pop star has nothing to do with it. Last week, the New York Times released Framing Britney Spears, a documentary that explores her career and personal life, examining in-depthly her conservatorship, which is headed by her father, Jamie Spears. Following the doc's release, Britney took to Twitter yesterday saying, "Each person has their story and their take on other people's stories. Remember, no matter what we think we know about a person's life, it is nothing compared to the actual person living behind the lens. We're wishing Britney the best of luck." Remember Rebecca Black? Well, she's back with a remix to her hit single Friday. The song was released yesterday in honor of the original's 10-year anniversary. In the new video, she's ditched her friends to instead get down with her gold plaque on Friday. She's also enlisted the help of Big Freedia, Dorian Electra, and 303 for her reimagined hit. Good news for her, it appears we're all still looking forward to the weekend. And National Geographic is expanding its Genius series to include the esteemed Aretha Franklin. The official trailer for the 4-part docu-series has been released and explores her musical genius, incomparable career, immeasurable impact, and the lasting influence of the legendary singer. Franklin is played by Broadway star Cynthia Erivo.
The people of the world hereby crown you Queen of Soul.
Genius Aretha will begin airing Sunday, March 21st, and will be available to stream in its entirety on March 25th, what would have been Franklin's 79th birthday. Also in the world of music, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has announced the nominees for this year's induction. We have a complete guide to everything you'd want to know up right now on WKYC.com. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Kara. Well, Jay, this is pretty cool. Alex Trebek's legacy will live on. His family donated most of his wardrobe to the Doe Fund. The organization helps people rebuild their lives by providing jobs, training, housing, and other services. Trebek's family donated several suits, more than 300 neckties, and so much more. The donations will be used by people going on job interviews. I love that. Give them a chance to suit up.
It's a great way to recycle some wonderful clothes, too. Alex, one of the sharpest dressers in TV. Well, this little snowboarder is going to melt your heart. It's our Wednesday Worth the Watch. Comedian Trevor Noah actually shared this video of a little girl snowboarding with no help. Look at her all by herself, Beth. She's so tiny.
She'll be in the Olympics.
It's just incredible. Her balance at such a young age. That's the time to learn. You know why?
It is.
If you fall, it doesn't hurt. You don't have very far to go.
Your center of gravity is like 3 inches off the ground.
Exactly. I love her moves. She's got what it takes. So far, that video has been shared by 1.4 million folks.
She's going to be tearing it up one of these days.
Absolutely love it. All right, coming up in the second half hour of What's New, Valentine's Day. Options are limited this year, of course, but that doesn't mean you can't make it a memorable one. We're going to give you tips from a professional on how to make a special Valentine's Day at home.
And our Stephanie Haney is scanning the internet to see what's catching Clevelanders' eyes. She's going to tell us about a popular 90s drink that's making a comeback. Woohoo! Oh.
She is so fired up about this,
I might know this story.
She's really excited. And we continue our Your New Job series. Today we offer hope for mid-level managers who've lost their jobs due to downsizing and are just fed up with corporate America. Stay tuned. It's great information, and it's coming up in the second half hour of What's New.
Now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
It most certainly is. Welcome back to our Wednesday edition of What's New. We're so glad that you're carving time out with us. We're halfway through the show, and Betsy, we're halfway through the week, almost to the weekend. With Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford.
Dare I say we are at the midpoint.
Exact midpoint. We are right there.
It's all downhill from here.
We're over the hump. We're over the hump. That's the great news. All right, we begin at 5:30 as we do every day. 3 things you need to know. House managers gave their opening impeachment cases today against former President Donald Trump. They used his own words against him, claiming he planted seeds of insurrection months before the attack on the Capitol. The Trump legal team begins its defense on Friday. They plan to focus on on claims he was exercising free speech and never encouraged violence.
And late this afternoon, the NBA released a statement clarifying its national anthem policy. It directed teams around the league to play the national anthem before every game. Get this, the statement is in response to the Dallas Mavericks not playing the national anthem all season long. Owner Mark Cuban chose not to play it, which had gone unnoticed because of the lack of fans. The team will be playing it, though, before tonight's game and from here on out.
Now, that was a quick, swift move by the NBA. Here's a look at our daily coronavirus numbers. They were up 74 cases today, 3,281 new cases. Our number of vaccines statewide, though, now exceeds 1.1 million. And if you need help with that, that's just shy of 10% of Ohio's total population. So, Betsy, slowly but surely, we're getting folks vaccinated. Positivity rate, which has been holding very steady in the 6% range, saw a big jump today, up nearly 2.5 points to 8.6%. And hospitalizations down again by 89 patients statewide. We now have 1,922 COVID-19 patients in Ohio hospitals.
Well, everybody, it's T-minus 4 days to Valentine's Day, and the pressure is on. Just a few days to go now, and trying to do something special amidst this pandemic, well, it's going to be a little challenging. And with so many people staying in this year, NBC's Liz McLaughlin found ways to make a night in feel just as romantic.
This year, we can't go to the movies, we can't go out to eat.
This Valentine's Day, whining and dining doesn't have to be off the table.
Romance is alive and well.
OkCupid's dating expert Melissa Hobley recommends making your at-home date special by setting the scene.
You can find fun decor everywhere right now.
And ditching the work-from-home sweats.
Actually take the time to get dressed up, light some candles, put on a dress. What are heels? Has anyone worn heels in a long time? Put on heels.
Learn a new skill together with a cocktail or cooking class. Nona Live mixes in an element of travel with traditional Italian dishes.
It hosts classes led by an actual Italian grandma who will cook you through any number of delicacies from pumpkin gnocchi to classic lasagna.
Couples can get a surprise evening with a service such as Date Box Club that does the planning for you.
Thank you for coming on such short notice.
Or team up with your partner in crime to solve a mystery with an experience called Hunt a Killer.
It sends you a box filled with clues like autopsy reports and evidence and whatnot that you can use to kind of try and solve this narrative that the box is telling.
Whether it's a murder case or a meal, the key to a romantic evening is your full attention.
Turn off the notifications, turn off your cell phone.
Giving your Valentine the gift of being present. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
Ah, yes. Candlelight dinner, nice soft music, maybe a glass of wine, some Barbies, Legos.
No, they're not supposed to be part of this.
Yeah, right.
No, they're just not. Mom
What
and
you
Dad
doing
can
in
help
there?
for a night. Mom and Dad are just around the corner, right?
Yeah, not everybody has that option, so
Yeah,
you got to
well-
make the best of it. I know our little girls, we are all about the love. We do the hearties all the time, and so we'll be very festive with our heart decorations and whatnot on Sunday.
Very good.
We all know that, sometimes when you try to do nice things for others, it doesn't always turn out the way you hoped. We want you to tell us about those bad Valentines, the stuff that just didn't go right? Well, text them now to us at 216-344-3300. Again, you can just text us a message. Post them onto our WKYC Facebook page or tweet them to us using the hashtag 3Valentine. Now, if you have a picture or video to go along with it, use the Near Me feature on the 3 News app. We're going to be sharing some of these gems on Friday. And everybody always has a bad Valentine story, so we'll all commiserate together.
Yeah, they're funny after the fact, right? Not in the moment. Be sure to check out our Valentine's Day guide as well. We have local restaurant specials, a quiz to learn your love language. That's interesting. And recipes. They're all up on our website. Just go to wkyc.com/Valentine. And after the break on What's New, who told you who got we already told you who got Rock and Roll Hall nods, but who got snubbed? Because Betsy, you know every year there's a list of groups that we might have expected to get nominations but did not. We're going to tell you who those are this year in Clicking in Cleveland.
Yeah, they're already showing up on my Twitter feed. Also ahead, we hear from the first female official ever to work a Super Bowl. Find out how she's inspiring a generation of young girls to chase their Super Bowl dreams. And of course, we're talking about the forecast. And Matt, we have snow coming down now. It's a beautiful picture, actually, that's there on the CSU cam. But I think that's going to be another beautiful picture a couple times coming in our forecast. Do you know what I'm saying? We have more snow coming. I made it very complicated.
Oh, no, that's okay. You just went the long way around that. I totally get it. You know, Betsy, this would look a lot prettier if this were falling in November, December. I'm getting some emails, and some people are a little bit done with this. But yeah, we've got more snow on the way, more cold as well. There is some light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to talk in depth next week's weather coming up.
And as we head to the break, we have today's Black History Moment. Today we're highlighting a man whose name graces buildings and street signs, and it's a very well-known family. Carl B. Stokes cemented his historical importance not only in Cleveland, but the nation. Here's Romney Smith.
Carl B. Stokes is Cleveland's first black mayor. He's also the first black mayor of any major city. Stokes was elected to office in 1967, defeating Seth Taft, the grandson of President Taft. His election paved the way for other black politicians.
He was an inspiration in allowing a nation to realize that we could have a black president of the United States of America.
Stokes is known for opening up all city hall jobs to black people and all women. After serving 2 terms, Stokes went on to lecture at colleges, become a news anchor at WNBC in New York City, then returned to Cleveland to be a lawyer and judge. Stokes passed away in 1996 at age 68.
Here's the big story of the day, in my opinion. Hello. Al, did you know that McDonald's is bringing back the High C orange drink? Can you believe it? After 4 long years. Oh my gosh. Well, you can get it in the drive-thru.
All right, it is 5:40 and 23 seconds right now, and not only are we counting down to Valentine's Day, Matt, you got the kids in there with you, maybe some craft time happening, snacks galore, and a little snow to go in there too.
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything going on as expected here at the Wins household. Betsy, Emmy wanted to show you the picture, and the part I like about this are the blue skies, right?
Oh,
when's the last time we saw
nice.
those?
Oh, tell
Isn't
her
that
great
nice?
job, Emmy.
Is that Florida? No, you did a really nice job on that for sure. All right. Well, let's talk our local weather, which is much different than Florida right now. I'm going to start you off with wind chills because this is really what matters, what it feels like outside. We've once again got single digits, especially out towards the west. A little bit milder as you get down towards Akron, down towards Dover, feeling more like 16. We're all going to chill down tonight, though. Wind chills will likely be in the single digits. And we've got snow on top of that. This is a very light, fine snow. We've got a couple moderate bursts out towards Lorain County right now. And this will come and go over the next couple hours. The bulk of this will be down towards the south. So we're not expecting a lot in terms of accumulation. But once the sun goes down, keep in mind, that's when things really slicken up. Any untreated surfaces will be slippery with that coating up to an inch of snow tonight. But the bulk of the storm's down areas of Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, where ice storm warnings are present. They're expecting a pretty decent ice storm down there, and that's not going to go away. Typically down south, it comes and it goes. It melts, right? Well, this isn't going to melt with this cold air, and we're certainly locked into that. Your National Design Mart hour by our forecast. You can see the snow pretty much clearing the area overnight tonight. May have a couple lingering flurries tomorrow morning. Otherwise, we'll start to see some peaks of sun tomorrow, but with a northeast wind, we're going to continue with those lake clouds as you get out towards not just the primary but secondary snow belt. So we'll go mostly cloudy tomorrow, but keep in mind, if you're away from the lake, you'll be A-OK. A cold start to our Friday morning and more of the same on Friday. Partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be in the 20s. The core of this cold air has been north and west of us this entire event, thankfully, but it will sink south down towards Texas as we get into the weekend. That will chill our temperatures down for our Valentine's Day, but this will also set records across areas of the southern plains. They're going to be having some serious cold as far south as Houston. We talked about this on our weather call. And this will also spin up a couple storm systems that are going to have more moisture as we get the Gulf involved. The first is going to arrive Friday, Saturday, but it comes in two pieces. We've got the northern wave and a southern wave. And as long as those stay separate, it's going to be just a little light snow as we get on into our Saturday. We'll have to keep an eye on that system. The next system, though, looks much more appreciable. Big old low comes out of Texas down into the Gulf and then comes our direction next week. That will bring a chunk of moisture with it, and depending on how the track of that low shapes out, we could either be dealing with some ice or quite a bit of snow somewhere in the Ohio Valley. The GFS has some decent amounts, and look at this. This is the latest GFS run. Some heavy snow somewhere in the area. Too soon to talk about amounts or track, but just something to put on your radar. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast in the 20s the next couple days. There's our weekend snow. Colder for Valentine's Day, as we've been predicting, and then next week, all eyes turn towards that Tuesday, Wednesday system. Betsy?
Oh, I'm just kind of tearing up here. I'm so excited about that snow that's coming in. Appreciate it, Matt.
You and me both.
Send it over to Jay.
Glad you guys are excited about
This
it.
is what we do. We nerd out. So give us a break.
That makes two people in Cleveland that are excited about it. All right, Matt, thank you very much. Time now to see what's clicking in Cleveland, and for that we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, hello to you. Man, are you excited about one of the items in clicking today?
I sure am, Jay. We are going to get to that in just a moment. First, though, I know you all have talked about the Rock Hall nominations already, but now we're going to talk about the snubs. People are shocked that Dave Matthews Band doesn't even have a shot at being inducted this year, especially after being nominated last year and winning the fan vote with more than 1 million votes. And Pat Benatar, also one of the top fan picks as a nominee last year, is not in the running either. Her name was trending on Twitter today for being left out. The Rock Hall says they'll be eligible again, and it could just take a while. The time has come to name those endangered cubs just born at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo, and you can help. You can vote on the names for each of the cubs if you make a donation at the site linked on WKYC.com. The options for the boy cub are Luca, Ivan, and Yuri, and for the girl cub, you can pick between Valentina, Anya, and Tatiana. Beautiful names. Each donation will help fight illegal wildlife trade, which is one reason why these Amur tiger cubs are endangered. All right, Here's the big story of the day, in my opinion. McDonald's is bringing back the High C orange drink. McDonald's tweeted a PowerPoint presentation on its Twitter account today, making the case for the classic, talking about how the comeback would go viral, which it has, and High C orange would spread joy to the world, which is true, and then tweeted a fake email from the VP of Marketing approving the return. So by summer, we can all enjoy High C orange at Mickey D's again. It was in 2017 when they took this on the menu. Who knows why they took it off? It's been 4 long years, Jay, and I can tell you, this is the flavor of my childhood. I will personally be stocking the McDonald's in the area to make sure everyone knows when we get it back.
Stephanie, they took it off so they could bring it back, which is marketing genius. And we're all waiting for it.
It is genius.
Thank you very much.
Mixer, half
absolutely.
icy and half Sprite.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was always a good thing. All right, well, today we heard from the first female referee to officiate a Super Bowl game. Sarah Thomas said on the Today Show that it's been a lot of hard work and credits her parents for setting a good Christian foundation, teaching her to hold herself accountable and not to make excuses.
And now, Betsy, she is inspiring young fans, including her own, to follow in her footsteps.
I have a precious little girl that is watching her mom, not just on a football field, but daily at home. And I want her to know, seeing it, believing it, and you can do it.
Now, she's no stranger to making history. She was also the first woman to officiate a major college football game. She did that back in 2017. Trailblazer.
Totally, and we are starting to see more women in the NFL. There's 8 female coaches. One of them, Callie Brownson, who's chief of staff for the Browns. Always got to bring our Cleveland spin in there. There's also 5 female refs.
Yeah, when you say more women in the NFL, it wasn't long ago where it was almost unthinkable for a woman to hold any position in the NFL.
Right.
Now, if you look at the front office rosters across the NFL, it's littered with women who are really making names for themselves in a field that, just say 15 years ago, wasn't dominated by male. It was completely men. And that's no longer the case.
And to be truthful, you know, there have been women on the professional, the business side of the football teams.
Sure.
They've been there a while, but this is into the football operations side, which is kind of new trailblazing stuff. So it's very exciting to see, certainly. And just point to one of those ladies and say, look, girls, you can do anything. You can even boss boys around.
Throw a flag in a Super Bowl.
Drop and give me 20. All right, next on What's New. Many mid-level managers have lost their jobs as corporate America continues to downsize. But in your new job series that we have coming up, we offer some alternatives to a new career path.
Plus, building snowmen for those who can't. It's today's Show Us Something Good, and it's coming up.
All right, it's now time for our pop quiz. Apples are native to which continent? Asia, Europe, or North America? I was this many days old when I found this out, I'm going to be honest. We'll be right back. Well, before the break, we asked you which continent apples are native to. And the answer is Johnny Appleseed be darned. It's Asia, not North America. Interesting.
As part of our running series, Your New Job, we've featured a lot of entry-level positions or employers that offer on-the-job training. That works for many. But many, including mid-level managers, have lost their positions due to downsizing. So we wanted to highlight a source of jobs for them that has been growing in popularity because they're tired of corporate America. Here's consumer investigator Danielle Serino.
Outsourcing, a word that strikes fear in any employee. More than 200,000 jobs have been shipped overseas since 2017, including Brian Shays.
February of 2018, a job that I'd been with for 18 years had decided to outsource my entire department. So I was involved with training my replacements over in Kosovo.
And his job search became the stuff of nightmares. 300 resumes, 30 in-person interviews, but nothing.
What are you thinking at this point?
Sorry. It was tough. From the time I was in 5th grade, I always had at least one job. There were many times in my life where I had two. I supported and raised a family. And for a year and a half, I couldn't do that.
He'd been networking with every source possible when he connected with Therese McGroarty of FranNet, a company that links Ohioans with franchises.
I'm a matchmaker. I help people explore franchise business ownership, try to help them find out what are their values, their motives, their goals, their lifestyle, and fit a franchise that fits that.
They're not for everyone and could seem like gambling all you have on black. Brian tapped into his 401k to pay the initial license fee, which at FranNet starts at $40,000 with about 20% down. Others take home equity loans, and experts say figure in a year's worth of living expenses while your business grows. But the rewards can be big.
I'm not helping people buy a job. I'm helping people buy a career. It's going to be pretty difficult to get out and maybe make that $200 that you were making before. But you could easily do it in many franchises.
And Therese says FranNet doesn't just take your cash and send you along. There's an extensive vetting process to find your best fit and meeting with other franchise owners.
And you ask them, do you like it? What's your profit margin? Would you do this again? If 5 people say they would never do this again, I don't think you should either.
So you're almost like a coach.
Yes.
Brian chose Assisting Hands, a company that provides in-home health care. He wanted something which played on his history of service, 24 years in the military, and it didn't hurt that his wife is a nurse. At only 4 months in, the company's not yet turning a profit, but Brian says he's not concerned. He did his homework. His only regret, not doing this sooner.
I wasted 18 months that I could have been growing my own business. I don't want to say wasted, but it's a lot more rewarding than anything I've ever done.
No matter what your path, job seekers and experts stress utilize all free resources and networking groups available because that is how most people get jobs. I put links with information on both on our website. I'm Danielle Serino, 3 News.
Danielle, thanks. And Brian, good for you. Everyone loves building snowmen, but not everyone can brave the cold to do it. Our show is Something Good will warm your heart. It's next.
And then ahead at 6 on What Matters Most, former Ohio Treasurer Josh Mandel is eyeing the U.S. Senate. He talks to our Mark Namick about his decision to run.
Hey there. Hey, Al, testing 1, 2. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Laura Queso, and I'm Russ Mitchell.
Hey, mic check. Kids really do have hearts of gold. They spent the day doing something
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're just parked a little bit away from the camera here. Check 1 2 3 1 2 3. Check 1 2 1 2.
I think a lot of folks know this, but it's always good to point out when kids really do have hearts of gold. They spent the day building snowmen outside of an assisted living center in Hamilton, Ohio. The Woodland of Hamilton posted these pictures on their Facebook page. Kids built snowmen outside residents' rooms so they could enjoy them from inside. And one of the snowmen even had a sign that reads, "I hope this makes you smile." Look at that! Isn't that so sweet?
Made me smile.
Talk about inspiring.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for watching What's New. We're back tomorrow.